What's up? It's finally here, but before we begin, we have a lot to cover. I've had and still have very limited playtime, roughly 2 hours a day, so personally I haven't made it very far, progression-wise, or with the challenges. As you can see, I'm sitting at 19. I do apologize for the video being late, although on average it does take me 3 weeks to make the video either way. As per usual, there will be timestamps down in the description. If there aren't any, you're simply here too early. Now, I was going to start working on this video last week, or maybe even before that, but work is cutting into way too much. I've had 2 days off now, but of course, because I've had 2 days off, I ended up waking up sick. And today I'm feeling a lot better, so let's do this. So our first one is Preparation. Have a combined total of 1,000 armor, evasion, and energy shield. This one's pretty easy. Just basically beat the campaign and you should get there automatically. Just make sure you don't grab stuff like the Agnostic, which turns your energy shield 0, and a combined total value of 0 is still 0. We need to allocate 3 notables. A notable is a big one like this. The super big one, they're keystones, but these things here are notables. Complete harvest encounters. 1, open a seed cache, plant a seed, harvest a seed, very easy. Pop open a thing in a map or while you're leveling, you get the first one, plant it in the harvest, you get the second, and then you wait for the cycles, and then you harvest it. Complete these quests. The Great White Beast you will find in Act 2 in Old Fields, where you have to find a little hole in the ground and kill a big white bear, and done so. An Indomitable Spirit you will find in Act 4. In the Mines, level 2, where you have to click a spirit. Fallen from Grace is in Act 6. Where you have to clear the Twilight Strand. The Wings of Vestiri you will find in Act 8. In the bathhouse, where you click the thing where the big guy charges at you, or away from you mostly, and the reward is the Conquerors efficiency, etc. No Love for Old Ghosts you will find in Act 10. In the ossuary. Defeat these act bosses, progress through the game, you'll get it automatically. Complete encounters 1. We need to find and kill a rogue exile. We need to complete a prophecy. We need to crack open a essence monolith, that is a legion encounter, and we need to defeat a tormented spirit. Place harvest infrastructure. So we need to place a collector. It's the things that allows you to grow seeds. We also need to place a storage tank. This is where all the condensed energy go. We also need to place a disperser. This is what allows tier 2, 3, and 4 to grow. We also need to place a pylon. We also need to place a hoarded crafting station. This is where you can save your restored craft. These are only available from tier 2 seeds and above. And then we need to connect a collector to a pylon that we have here, and then that pylon needs to go to a storage tank, which I have like way down there, and it also needs to be connected to a disperser. So you don't have to do this pretty, you can just put a collector, and then a pylon, and then a disperser, and then a storage tank. Complete encounters 2. We need to complete an Abyss encounter. Complete a Delve encounter at depths 20 or deeper. That is like right at the start. We need to complete a Vol side area. You will find these anywhere really. I keep seeing them in almost every other zone. We need to allocate a major god power. That is the Pantheon. We need to allocate one of these. Defeat these act bosses 2. This is just progressing through the campaign. Complete harvest account is 2. Complete a harvest craft by using a collector. Basically just fill up with seeds on one collector, wait for the growth cycles, harvest it, done. Then we need to condense 50 life force. I can't really show you right now, but by now you should have encountered it. So when you find a bunch of crafts you don't want, you click condense, and that life force will then go into a storage tank. Fill a storage tank with 250 life force. That's basically 24 seeds from a tier 1 map growth cycle. I think that is on average. It almost gives 300, I think, even that low. Defeat the Conquerors of the Atlas. We need to defeat all of Awakener's Guardians, and then we need to defeat Cyrus itself. We can do this at Awakener level 5. Complete vendor recipe, a cartographer's chisel. You can get that by getting a 20% gavel or stone hammer along with a random map, and it's going to give you a chisel. It has to be 20%, otherwise it does not work, as you can see here. Stone hammers and gavels you can find at most vendors, at most weapon vendors. You can also vendor maps, quality maps that totals 40%. A Chaos Orb you get by vendoring a complete set of gear, and they have to be between item level 60 and 74. You can have stuff over 74. You can have like all the way up to 86 if you want, as long as one is at least one item is below item level 74, and it's going to give you a Chaos Orb. Now this is unidentified, so it's going to give me 2. Chromatic Orb you will get by vendoring an item linked, that is linked red, green, and blue. For a Gem Cutter's Prism, you vendor quality gems that totals to 40%. You see you got 40% here, and it's going to give me a GCP. A Glass Blower's Bauble you get by vendoring quality flasks that totals to 40%. A Jeweler Orb you get by vendoring a 6-socket. Orb of Chance you get by doing the Chaos recipe, but everything has to be below item level, it has to be 59 and below. Just like the Chaos recipe, only one item has to be below item level 60. For Regal Orbs, everything has to be above item level 75. 75 and above for a Regal. Modify maps, we have to use a chisel on a map. We have to use a Harbinger's Orb, and by doing this it will upgrade the map by 1 tier, or if luck is with you, will give you a beachhead map. We also need to use an Orb of Alchemy. We also need to use a Orb of Horizon. Now Horizon will shuffle the map to a different map within the same tier. We need to use a Sextant somewhere. So Sextant goes on your Watchstones. You put it on a Watchstone, and then you run the map within that zone. Done. We also need to use Scarabs and Sacrifice Fragment. So you put these into the map device along with the map. Done. Turn in divination cards. We need to turn in a divination card that specifically grant each of the following reward types: essence, gem, influence item, jewel, prophecy, 2 implicit, unique item. And for this you can go to the wiki and look for divination cards, and you can just do Control F and then look for essence, and it is going to show you which cards count towards that. So Harmony of Souls, for instance, and the Cacophony? I've never seen that word before. Yes, you can use this wiki and just look for the things that you need. As for influence items, you can look for Shaper. That is an influence item, so that's going to be like Perfection, Celestial Stone, Lord of Celebration, You can also look for Elder, because that is an influence. Which would be Dark Dreams, Nook's Crown. What's it highlighting here? The Eldritch Decay, the Hail Heart, the Long Con. Actually, I don't think that works. What is an Elder Slayer's Exalted Orb? You can also look for straight up Influence. And then you get Prometheus Armory, the Awakened, and so forth and so forth. So you just look for what card is the cheapest, and that is what you will buy. As for 2 implicit unique item, you have a Fidelita Spike, which for some reason is like 10 chaos per card this league, at least when I bought it. Let's see, you can do 2. I think there's more. You have Rigwald's Quill. That's probably expensive. But yeah, you get the idea. And I will link this down in the description below. Complete Encounters 3. Defeat Preethi, Eyepecker in Desert while you are bleeding. So I don't know if the boss inherently casts vulnerability on you, but you can increase your chances by running the map with the vulnerability mod, and you can do this at tier 1 to make it as easy as possible. You also have a ton of other options of how to start bleeding. One option is the Infinite Pursuit. This is what I used. So what the boots will do is you will have a 50% chance to be inflicted with bleeding when hit by an attack. So what I did was I just stood around the boss, made sure I was taking damage, and as a melee character with Enduring Cry, that is very easy because all I have to do when I lose life is hit Enduring Cry and my life is just gonna go whoop. You can also use the Golden Rule, which will bleeding you inflict is reflected to you. So if you have a way of inflicting bleed, like a bleed bow gladiator or just any melee really, this could be really nice to have. You also have Coward's Chains, which will self-curse you with vulnerability. And what vulnerability does is it will give the mobs a chance to inflict bleeding on you. Secondly, defeat the Fallen Queen after defeating both the Broken Prince and the Hollow Lady in the Vault Pyramid map. Now, if you're a summoner, you are screwed. This is going to be more or less impossible as a summoner. It was almost impossible for me as like an AoE build with Tectonic Slam. So I had to like lure one of them away and just make sure I could, I had one, the Fallen Queen behind me and then one in front of me so I could attack them then. Defeat Stalker of the Endless Dunes in the Dig map without being affected by Gargan's Sandstorm. Now this one is probably going to be tricky if you're straight up melee, because you will have to range her. I did this on my summoner, so I just had to stay way back, and I got it pretty easily. Defeat Salasang in Garden's map without being affected by suppressing fire. This is the thing that turns you into stone, so again, you will need to pay attention of when to move away or simply be ranged. Complete Harvest Encounters 3. You need to plant each of the following seeds and harvest them, and these are all tier 1 seeds. Should you be missing one, you could buy them, but they're tier 1 seeds, so this shouldn't be difficult at all to complete. Upgrade unique items. Use each of the following methods to upgrade to create a unique item. So we got Fated Prophecy, which an example would be to upgrade a Karui Ward to a Karui Charge using the Prophecy. We need to use a Breach Blessing on a Breach Unique to upgrade that Breach Unique to the higher tier. We need to use an incursion vial. So in this case, I have a vial of fate, and for the vial of fate, I would need the story of the Vol sword, and I would then have to find a tier 3. Well, I can't talk to her because I didn't do the quest. I then need to find a tier 3 a sacrifice room. So you then put the sword into the box, and then you put the vial into the smaller box. As for vendor recipes, I only know of 2. One is to make the Kingmaker, but that's pretty expensive, even as of now. So the cheapest one is probably going to be how to make a Huri's Bite, and for that we need a 1% quality rain of arrow. We need a rare onyx. We need a chance orb, and we need a random shark tooth arrow quiver. And apparently it cannot be corrupted. Now, I spent like 15 minutes trying to buy a base because my vendors wouldn't sell me one, so I'll see you in a bit. And there we go. Now, very importantly, the quiver has to be white. The quiver has to be white. I completely forgot about that. So, 1% quality rain of arrows, a rare onyx, 1 chance orb, a white shark tooth arrow quiver. It's going to give you a... Here is... Complete twinned maps, same strategy as always. Transmute and alt spam until they're twinned. Complete harvest encounters 4, and these are all tier 2 seeds. They can also be bought, and in order to plant tier 2 seeds, you need to have 4 seeds adjacent to them of at least tier 1. So I have 4 tier 1s in the corners here that are outside of the collector. As you can see, it's outside of the square. So these will grow, but they will never be harvested, so they will always be there. And to grow tier 3 seeds, you would have to replace these tier 1s with tier 2s instead. Complete rare unidentified maps. There are different ways of going about this. The easiest way is to just simply buy them unidentified. You can also hope for them to drop unidentified. You can check Sana. If she's selling an unidentified, here we got tier 2 and tier 3 unidentified. You can also do the upgrade. I don't know if I will... do I even have... Okay, we got Dunes, which I actually technically would want to say, but... You can do this if you would need a tier 4, for instance. You collect 3 of the same tier 3. You then alch all 3 of them. And you then vendor them, and you will get a tier 4 unidentified. But most importantly, be sure that you have a build that can handle no regen, Fizz Reflect, and Elemental Reflect. I can't remember if I said this, it's only been a few seconds, but you can also use a Vol Orb on a rare map and hope it turns corrupted unidentified, but that is a very expensive way of doing that. Achieve Ascension. This is doing all 4 labs, Normal, Crew, Merciless, and Uber. Use Infused Currency. So we need to use an Infused Engineer's Orb on Armor Strongbox and a Diviner Strongbox. We also need to use a Facetor's Lens to add experience to a skill gem and to a support gem. Now, both these infused, the Infused Engineers and the Facetor's Lens can be bought. The Infused Engineer's Orb uses a Vivid Watcher's Bulb, which is tier 3. The Facetor's Lens is called Vivid Razor Leg Grain, which is a tier 2. Now at the time of making this video, they are like 40 chaos and 20 chaos respectively, so that's like a total of 120 chaos, since we need 2 of each. Complete encounters 4. We need to defeat Metamorphs. These have been fairly frequent, and by defeating Metamorphs, that means you need to fill up enough organs to defeat the thing that Tane summons. We do have Sana mod for Metamorph this league. We also have Metamorph Scarabs. Harbingers, we also have Sana mod, and we have Scarabs. We also have Beachhead. Now I ran a Beachhead earlier, and on average it seems to give around 15 Harbinger packs per Beachhead. Beachheads are... the lowest tier seems to be around 25 chaos. So you're getting 15 packs for 25 chaos versus... where is it? 2 packs per 4 chaos. We also need to open breaches. We do have Breach Sonomod, we have Breach Scarabs. They seem to have been fairly frequent for me, so I haven't even done any Sonomods or Scarabs to hit my 50. The same goes for Legion encounters. As for Legion, we do have... Do we have Sauna? We do have Legion Sauna, and we have Legion Scarabs. Complete Delirium encounters. Face your fears by passing through a Delirium mirror. We also need to socket a Cluster Jewels, and Cluster Jewels only goes on the outside of the tree, as you can see here. We don't need, like, if your build doesn't use a cluster, you can just go out of your way to travel to one of these, socket it, and then respec the points. We need to complete the Simulacrum, so you need a very strong build for that, or a carry. We also need to complete a rare map with maximum Delirium. This can be a tier 1, and to not make it too beefy, you can just transmute it and then regal it. And maximum Delirium means you need to place 5 Delirium orbs on the same map. Complete Eternal Labyrinths. Defeat Isara in each of the following Eternal Labyrinths. Eternal Labyrinths of Fortune, Opportunity, and Potential. These are obtained from the Harvest, and they look like this. I have a Tribute, Gift... I have Tribute and Gift, I'm missing one. The zone level is going to be 83. This character I'm leveling right now is a Tectonic Slammer, but once I hit 90 plus, I'm going to respec to my classic Lab Farmer to be doing those. The seeds for the Labyrinth offerings are Vivid Abarakak Bulb. The offerings, last time I checked, there were like 10 chaos, 15 chaos, and 50 chaos. Obtain harvest rewards. Obtain 8 of the following 10 specific rewards by completing crafts using the collector in the Sacred Grove. So we need to do all of this in the list here. Now I will, down in the description, I will give you the names of all the seeds and its tier. It ranges from tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4. And once again, the seeds can be bought. Complete Harbinger encounters. We need to complete the Beachhead. We need to combine 3 pieces to create a unique. The pieces can be bought. We need to complete Infused Beachhead. That can be bought. I don't know the seed you need for the Infused Beachhead. We also need to upgrade a Harbinger unique item. I'm not entirely sure what this means, but I'm told this is presented to you in the Infused Beachhead. So if anyone has more information about this last thing here, please leave a comment down below. Complete Harvest Encounters 5. These are tier 3 seeds. Again, they can be bought. Explore the Atlas. So we need 140 bonus objectives, and we need 140 awakening bonus objectives. So the normal bonus objective is just to do white maps blue. You need to do yellow maps rare, and we need to do red maps rare and corrupted. We also need to do it all over again for the awakening bonus. Like here, for instance, I need to complete Villa at tier 14 with awakening, at least awakening level 1. We also need to reach level 90. Complete Encounters 5. So we need to defeat Portentia, the Foul in Wastepool, after she has transformed at least 3 times and without being affected by any effluents. So this one was kind of tricky. So the lowest we have waste pool is tier 3, so I would recommend doing the tier 3 version of that map. Just rush to the boss room. What I did, and hopefully you will have some footage in the background as I talk over this, was I went near the lever, put a portal down, clicked the lever, left the map, went back in, waited for my grace time period. That way I don't take damage and I don't get affected by anything. And once the ground underneath me is clear, I click the lever again, leave the map, come back in, and do this until she has transformed 3 times. Now, I think it took me 4 tries. Being ranged is going to make your life a whole lot easier to do this, because once you've transformed her, you also need to kill her. So the first time, I put the portal down at the lever, but once I clicked it, when I thought I was safe, I was immediately hit by an effluent and failed it, so it's going to take you a few times, maybe. Defeat Terror of the Infinite Drift in the Desert Spring map while you have 10 stacks of quicksand. Basically, don't move. Be ranged. Again, be ranged. Don't move. So you get the 10 stacks. Defeat Guardian of the Chimera in Pit of the Chimera map after searching at least 25 smoke clouds. This is the in-between phases after you've killed the ads. He's going to go into the smoke clouds. Now, I don't know if you can force him to do this multiple times. And I don't know how many clouds he puts down on average. So it's pretty straightforward of what you need to do, but maybe not how you need to do that. Alright, so I'm gonna be forced to re-record this part because I completely misread this last part of the challenge here, where you need to defeat the Shaper without being hit by any of his or his clones' non-basic attack skills. So when I first read it, I thought you just didn't have to get hit by his clones' skills, but you can't get hit by basically anything. I think you can get hit by his auto attacks, but you can't get hit by the beam, you can't get hit by the balls. You can't get hit by any of the clone stuff. You can't get hit by the slam. You can't get hit by the bullet hell phase. So this one is actually rougher than I thought it was going to be. But a friend of mine suggested a little tip on how to complete this. I have failed this 3 times. Flame Dash bugged out, I think, at least twice, where it just refused to Flame Dash. And a second one is I stood in the grace period for too long, and I got hit by a combo of balls and beam. I'll show you that in the video soon. But the trick is because the only real difficult part of this challenge is the bullet hell phase. You can pop the floating balls, that is okay. But you can't get hit by any of the else. So you will want a friend. You're going to need a friend. And he can sit in your hideout, his hideout, wherever, as long as he's somewhere outside of the map. And once the bullet hell phase starts, you will click the blue icon on your friend and click teleport to. You will get a confirmation box. And once Shaper starts to teleport, once he starts to move around the map, not immediately when when Sauna's bubbles up, but as soon as he starts teleporting all around, you start counting to 6. Once you hit 6, you click teleport. And then you go back into the map and wait for the grace period. And you want to move to the side immediately so you don't get hit by its beam or the balls. So you're going to have to waste some portals for the bullet hell phase, because the bullet hell phase is extremely random, whether you're going to get hit by the projectiles or not. So once again, once the bullet hell phase starts, wait for him to teleport. Have already prepared to click on the blue icon to teleport to your friend. You will have the confirmation box up. Once he starts teleporting all around, count to 6. Once you hit 6, teleport, or you could log out. Teleport works just as well. And then you go back in, you wait for the grace period, because the thing about the bullet hell phase is when you leave the map and come back in, if the bullet hell phase is still ongoing, there is going to be invisible projectiles flying around. So you definitely want to wait for the whole grace period just to be safe. The whole challenge is all about timing. All right, moving on. Defeat harvest bosses. So these are tier 4 bosses. I believe they are random. I do not know. If anyone could throw me a bone here. Use Winged Scarabs. We need to use all of these Winged Scarabs. They can be bought. I don't know how expensive they are. Some of them are probably quite expensive. The name is Vivid Vulture Bulb, which is tier 3. You can buy. Complete Encounter 6. Defeat a possessed unique Delirium boss. So my strategy for this will be to use the possessed foe prophecy, because if and I will be doing this alongside with 5-orbing the map. So my strategy will be to use possessed foe, which means if I kill a rare, a ghost will pop out. So I will drag that rare to the boss. Kill the rare, the ghost will then hopefully go into the boss. So that's my strategy. If it's gonna work, I don't know. I don't know how many orbs you need for a guaranteed boss spawn. I think you might need at least 3. I don't know, because I think I've done like a ton of. I did like a ton of 2-orb maps last league, and I didn't really see a boss every single time. Complete Domain of Timeless Conflict while all 5 factions are present. This is Legion. So you need to do all... well, first you need to do 4 of them to open up the 5th slot. Kill a monster with 5 essences in an area level of 80 or higher. So there's 2 ways of doing this, I think. In both cases, you have to be insanely lucky. I think you can do this in someone else's party. Like if someone in global 820. Fuck, I haven't been there so long. I forget what the global channel name is. But if they're like, hey, I got 5 essences, then you can go into his map, and even if he kills it, I think you can get it. But anyway, you can get lucky finding it in Delve. There are essence nodes in Delve, but you have to get insanely lucky to find that. You can do Sana, a bunch of Sana missions where she will offer essence missions, and then you just pray that you need a 4. Yeah, you need 4 essences, and then you use. I don't think I have one, do I? You need to use a Remnant of Corruption to force it to 5. I don't know if they can spawn as 5 by default. I don't know. It's super rare, but if you find a 4, you use a Remnant of Corruption and hope it adds 1. Defeat a bestiary boss. I do this every league by just search for portal, see what I have, and then I just buy the missing one, the cheapest missing one. Complete map tiers. We need to do 10,000. It's pretty self-explanatory. Like if you do a tier 2 map, it gives +2 to the counter. If you do a tier 15, it's going to give +15 to the counter. So this is probably going to take forever. For instance, I am only at 3,300. So if we're going for 40, if you're going for 36 challenges, you might want to skip this one. Depends how much you have time to play. Complete unique maps, buy the cheapest ones. You can also do sauna missions. The unique maps she offers will count towards the challenge. Complete harvest encounters 6. Open maps which are affected by infused sauna modifiers. These are tier 2 crafts. I had 1 infused Harbinger. And that is the only one I've done so far. We also need to exchange currency for an alternate currency. And this is, for instance, exchange, like 6 transmutes for 3 alchemists, options like that. So you need to do that 5 times. Exchange fragments or splinters for another random stack of fragments or splinters of the same type. More or less exactly the same as for the one above here. And I do believe these are tier 2 craft as well. And then change the stack of fossils, essence or delirium orbs, oils or catalyst into alternative stacks 5 times. And that is also tier 2 seeds. Harvest the Heart of the Grove. This is killing the tier 4 seed boss. Complete deadly encounters. So we need to complete Uber at Siri. We need to kill Chayula. We need to find a Del boss of an area of level 83. This one's probably going to be really hard, so I would suggest finding someone else that's found a boss and offer services. We also need to kill Uber Elder, and we get Uber Elder by killing Shaper. Shaper drops 2 fragments that we need to spawn Uber Elder, and we also need to kill Normal Elder, which drops the other 2 fragments. Harvest the Heart of the Grove conditionally. Now, obviously, I'm not even at tier 4 seeds yet, so I don't actually know how all of this works, but I will post you a link to... I'm going to scroll up to a written guide made by Byron Locke. So that will be down below. If you know of a really good video that showcases all of this, then please post that in comments down below as well. Complete endgame grind. So we need to hit level 100. We need to defeat Argus 100 times in the lab. Sometimes you can get lucky and find Argus in the very first room, so if you happen to just sit on 100 offerings and you have no intention of actually running the lab, just wait for a day where Argus is in the first or second room, kill Argus, run out, reset. Complete dev encounters at an area of level 80 or higher in the Azurite mine. I have just entered an 80 zone, I think. Yeah, so all I really need to do for this is just go to the sides. I don't actually have to go down. So once I've hit monster level 80 here, I can just go to the sides, and the strategy will be to do all of the ones that are really close to each other, that has the shortest path. So like here we have a pretty big cluster, for instance. We need to defeat Cyrus 50 times. We need to defeat waves of monsters in the simulacrums. That is 300 waves. 300 divided by 20 is what? That is 15 simulacrum clears. We need to defeat harvest bosses. That is here 4 bosses. So, what do we skip for 36? Honestly, I don't know, but obviously the number 1 pick, we do not do endgame grinds. That's 1. We probably most likely do not do Harvest of the Grove conditionally, so that's 2. These should be fairly easy. The Del boss is going to be like the real bitch here. Killing the tier 4 boss, Harvest of the Grove, should be fairly obtainable. This is pretty obtainable. Unique maps, yes. Map tiers, maybe you want to skip. Yeah, so this one, like the Encounter 6 and Deadly Encounters, is one of these two is probably going to be your number 4. The rest you can just dump money on. Yeah, that would be my suggestion. Those 4 or 5, honestly. So you are going to struggle really hard for that 36, last 36. You're probably going to struggle real hard. I've been talking so much, I'm actually dizzy. So are we done? I think we're done. So let's see, what's the raw of this video? The raw of this video is a full hour. So I would love to play a little bit. I'm also hungry, so I can't guarantee that the video will go out today. which is, what is today? Today is Wednesday. Currently 1 o'clock p.m. So most likely the video is coming out tomorrow because it's going to be a real bitch for me to edit this. As usual, I hope this video has been very helpful. I'm sorry I haven't been able to give, well, the detail of the challenges I've been wanting to, but I have been very, very restricted on my playtime, actually, not time play, playtime. My Delirium 40-40 guide last league has been my most popular 40 out of 40 guide so far, with 20,000 views. So hopefully we can achieve at least half of that this time around. I never ever advertise any of my videos, so those 20,000 views I had from last video, they were all you. You found me, I didn't find you. That has been it for me. Please correct things I've done wrong. If you have suggestions for alternative ways of doing certain things here, please leave a comment down below and I will pin them. But for now, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!